Okay, so both of these problems involve estimating square root, so I'm going to do them together as a single one. Now, a square field has an area of 399 square feet. Let's make a little sketch of this square field, and what are we really talking about? Well, whatever this measurement is here, it's going to be the same there because it's a square. So whatever length that has of feet on that side is going to have the same length on the other side of feet as well. So how would you get it? You find the area by doing length times width, or in the case of a square, side times side. So we would say x squared got us that 399. Okay? So if we wanted to find out what is x, what's the length of the side, we would do square root of that side equals square root of that side. Okay, we're essentially saying what number times itself gave us 399, but to the nearest foot. So what we are trying to figure out is what whole number gets us as close to 399 as possible. And they give us choices. So good way to do this is to just check. And we can test out some numbers. So you can see that they provide some false numbers like 200. It's not there to trick you. It's there to just ensure that they're giving answers that you might get if you're doing it wrong. So there's not just one obvious answer. And if you get the right answer, it's because you got it by knowing what you're doing. Now, if you didn't know that it was that times that, you might think 200 and 200 is 400. But 200 times 200 is not 400, because what you have to do is multiply the non-zero digits, the 2 and the 2 are the 4, and then add on all of the zeros that we've got. And at the top, we've got a total of 4 zeros. So that would have given us an area of 40,000 if this was equal to 200. So it can't be that. That's way too big. Our area is less than 400. Now, this is a good test of, do you know how to get numbers on either side of perfect square numbers on either side of a number that's not a perfect square. So if we're trying to find the numbers on either side of 399, then we need to find numbers on either side of it. And 399 is, well, let's test out these numbers. Let's test out, I'm going to draw them in the box here and then erase them. Okay, let's test out the first answer that we can't cross out right away. 200 we can cross out. 19 times 19. If we multiply that, we get 81, carry the 8. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 8 is 17. 0 placeholder. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 1 is 1. We're not adding that on. That was from then multiplying the 9. Add them together. We get a 1. We get a 6. We get a 361. That seems promising. That's pretty close to 399. Let's write it there. 361. Actually, let's get rid of all of that junk and put 361 once we've deleted that away. So 361. It's below it. If we can get a number on the other side of it, then we can find out. So we have to go higher than 19 because 19 is too low. So let's go to the next number, 20. That's actually a choice that they give us. And we do 20 times 20. We get 0, 2 zeros really, which don't help us. So they won't add to the sum if we total them up. So what I'm just going to say is we don't need to multiply by this 0. What we just need to do when we multiply is that we multiply by this 2, and we make sure that the first digit that we get comes straight down and any spaces directly below get filled in with zeros. So our first space here will get filled in with a 0 so that our first number, 2 times 0, which is 0, gets filled in there. And then 2 times 2, 4. There's our number 400. And wow, look at that. 400 is just 1 square foot away from 399. And in fact, it's above it. So it doesn't make any sense for us to check 21. That's going to be higher than what 20 squared is, which is so close to this that effectively, if we round it off, if we said 20 times 20, that's 400. That's basically what they're asking for. What's the approximate length of the side of the field? Approximately, when we use approximate, we put a wavy equals line saying it's not exactly that, it's approximately 20. That's our answer. Okay. Approximately 20 feet by 20 feet is the measure of this field. Okay. That was number 14. Now let's do number 15. Let's pick a new color. And what is the square root of 65 to the nearest integer? Well, 65. We want to pick a perfect square on either side of it. And if you know your multiplication facts, we can check the numbers that they gave us. And first of all, look, you can see that they're kind of suggesting that what's half of 65? It's pretty close to 33, but we're not doing halves. That's not what square rooting is. You're not dividing by 2. Let's take the numbers. First of all, let's cross that out because that's just not going to be it. Let's take the numbers that they've given us and let's square them. So 7 squared would be 49. So then 7 is what the square root of 49 is. Okay? 9, when squared, is 81. So 9 is the square root of 81. And 8 is the square root of 64. So, because 8 times 8 is 64. Now, we're going to pick the number that's on either side of it. Well, 60 square root of 64 is just below it. That's 8. The square root of 81 is the next number above it, and that is 9. So 65 is somewhere between 8 and 9, but you can see that it's much closer to 8 than it is to 9. So what is the square root of 65 to the nearest integer? Well, to the nearest integer, it's nearest to the perfect square root 8. So I'm going to get all of this junk out of here, and we're going to select the number 8 as our answer because 8 squared is 64, and that is very, 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 very close. Sorry. Very, very close to our number right there. So 8, and we're done.